Guys, I don't know where I lost you, but my internet just crashed. I'm going to quickly go back. I don't know if you guys are still there. It'll be starting with a new feed. Sorry about that, guys. It's one of those things with internet. We've got a very good line here in Westville. We're on fiber, but yeah. No, I see the internet is just, I can barely even scroll. I don't know if you guys can see. It's very, very slow. I can barely even bring up a web page on my second computer. Anyway, guys, it says that it's streaming. I don't know if it is. You've got to love live. Right, there we go. It looks like we are up and running again. Okay, guys. Yeah, we're on a boat positioning. We there. I'm going to play the video. I'm going to carry on with that video. I'm going to take it back to where I suspect that we lost it.
Later on, we might fish with other lures like crankbites and stuff like that. Then the maps and positioning is absolutely vital, because you need to, from what you can see, the position and the sort of the way the mound is positioned, you want your bait in the strike zone for the maximum type of period. So if you're fishing an elongated sort of bar or something like that, you don't want to put your bait next to it and just cast over the saddle pot, and literally the crank will run and be in the strike zone for like 1-2 meters and then deep water again. So you want to put your boat like sort of pointing like in the same direction as the long part of the mound. You want to cast and you want to crank and keep that crank coming up that bar the whole. You understand what I'm saying? No. Yeah. Bass fishing is a game of it's a game of statistics. The more that you can get your bait in the zone where the fish are going to eat it, the more bites you're going to get it. So, and that's where the maps and the things make a difference. As I'm saying now, there's a lot of visual, because I can see little, yeah. But the moment this is underwater, then the actual topography starts talking to me.
Right, that was an interesting thing. Sorry that Martin's video got interrupted there, and we lost you, but it looks like we're all back up and running again. We might run over a little bit time wise to make up for that. It's quite a bit of a jam-packed show, but guys, yeah, there was some great information there. So you know, the second one is a little bit of a continuation of the video that you've just watched, but I love the way that Martin puts it, and I'm sure you will enjoy it too. Stand by, here it comes. I think I know for myself how often I've pulled my bait out of the zone too soon, you know, and I didn't even realize that when I was in the zone I should have left it there longer, because I didn't even know that was a zone, because I didn't have charts or I didn't have anything. I just cast and retrieve, and retrieve. There was no. Yeah,
it reminds me of that story about that children's tale about the tortoise and the hare. You know, like I'm close to 50 now, and I see a lot of the young guys. I call them the young guns. You know what I mean? They're coming through the scene and they've got all the energy. You know, they'll throw that reaction lure the whole day, and for me after half an hour I'm starting to feel it a bit. So, you know, to stay competitive, I would have fished much more cleverly now. And that's with you know what I mean. So I fish a lot slower than I did 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But my bait's in the kitchen all the time. There's one. Oh, I missed him.
Guys, yeah, I love the way Martin says, my
Follow up
baits,
with something else there.
my baits in the kitchen all the time. I tell you what, I'm going to use that philosophy. I think that's a wonderful way to think about it. Maybe ask yourself the question. I know a lot of you spend a lot of time with your baits in the water, but is your bait in the kitchen though? That's the difference. So yeah, I quite enjoyed that. But yeah, good times. Now, this, I'm going to remember that saying for a long time. But anyway, this next video is a very important video. The best spots where everything makes sense. I mean, if you take Martin's knowledge on bass, structure, cover, behavior, time of year, weather pattern, leading up to the Saturday when we're on the water, everything, okay? Told him there's a spot that should work. This should have been the spot. But listen to what he says. Listen carefully what he says here. And this is fishing. This is why it's called fishing.
Because this area's got everything that I think they'd want. I just haven't been able to catch them here yet. And you know, if you look at the amount of fish that's been moving into the shallows here,
Yeah,
this is the first primary piece of little bit deeper structure.
that they should bump into, yeah.
And I'm really puzzled. It's actually irritating me because it's like an ego thing now. I just can't. Every time I want to come here and look, and I just haven't connected yet. Oh, they had a bite.
Is it?
I followed it to the boat.
Yeah, now this, if you don't have the charts, you're not going to know what this is.
No. This is also interesting, you know, I've seen it when the dam's been down.
Yeah.
And it's a little piece of rubble. Must have been an old pump house or something, because there's a little furrow next to it.
Yeah, I see that.
And yeah, I've caught a lot of fish off it.
And what sort of distance are you from?
Yeah,
40, 50, 45 feet?
no, about 20.
Oh, okay.
20, but it's you know, I'm not. To come back what I mentioned earlier, it's a big piece of structure. Here we go. Oh, geez, there was a good take. It's a big piece of structure, so the end of the structure is probably 40 foot away from me.
Yeah,
you understand? But where it starts is probably 15, 20 foot. So I'm putting the bait over the strike zone for the maximum. So when I make my cast, I'm actually casting over it.
Yes.
But within the first 4 or 5 foot that I'm cranking, it's starting to you look at my rod tip, you'll see this now. I'll start ticking the top of the hump,
Yeah.
and that's where I'm anticipating the fish to be. I've had 2 bumps here. See there, I'm in it now. So you want that crankbait just ticking off the top of that hump. So the fish are funny. They're very lethargic. They you know, all the bites I've got is on very slow plastics.
Yeah.
Perhaps later today, if we get a bit of a breeze, I might become a bit more aggressive. But I'll make a few casts with plastics there now, just out of curiosity. But a lot of times, if you find a concentration of post-spawn fish, you can really smash them on a crankbait on a place like this.
Yeah.
And that's why I've got huge sort of confidence in the spot, and it just hasn't done it yet.
That's a hell of a rod you're using. What rod is that?
Yeah, it's a 711 glass fiber rod. Because it gives you the distance for casting, and so you don't lose fish on it. Do most of my crankbait fishing with quite big rods. Try now and see if I can get a bite on plastics on this thing. It'll be very interesting.
But that's very interesting what you said there about being the primary structure coming from the deep water.
Yeah, that's it's a funnel,
Yeah.
and I'm, you know, we're having bites on all the visible stuff, and this is the first hump that's exactly the same. It's in contrary, it's actually got better composition than all these other spots.
Can't see it.
And I can't see it,
With the naked eye, that is.
but I can't understand why I haven't had bites or caught fish on it.
Yeah, yeah. And you've got that much confidence in this.
Absolutely. I'll take you to spots now where you'll see. I'm going to say it, you can't see it, but we're going to catch.
Yeah, yeah.
And it hasn't got all the.
What this one's got.
This is the Hollywood or the hotel 5-star hotel version, and it's just not happening. But I know it will. It's just the timing thing. See there, I'm in it now, on the top of the hump, feeling a bit of shrub and stuff there.
See what I mean about visual stuff? Look how it's attracted those guys
Oh
to
yeah.
those trees. But do you remember, before there were all these Joeys and bets and all that, when it was only the Albert Falls tournament or classic, whatever they called it back then, when centre trees had the trees sticking out,
Yeah.
it was like 80% of the field was sitting around those trees. Then the next year the water comes up and you can't see the trees, and there's like 10 boats there.
Yeah. You're asking maybe about those old maps,
Yes,
okay? The 2009 Nationals at Albert Falls, I won. And without those maps of yours, I wouldn't have won it, because exactly what you're saying, the dam was full, very full at that stage. And a lot of that stuff was submerged, so there wasn't a lot of visual. And I just contoured the edge of the old airstrip, you know, the drop off, and that's where I caught that big bad at the end of the day, end of the last day of the tournament. And I was the only guy there, because nobody was fishing there, whatever, all fishing the banks.
Strangely enough, that airstrip is actually poorly marked on the sediment. It's there, you can see it.
No, yeah, but it's just the stripe.
It's just a
It
stripe.
doesn't do justice, because it's got a bit of a... The important things to know about that airstrip is it's not, there's little landslides on the edge. As you,
Like washouts.
yeah, that's where the fish is. And there's big pieces of, not rubble, but clay sort of nobules.
Washed out and
Yeah.
created those funnel type things.
That's the secret.
That's interesting.
Okay. Sadly,
Nothing.
my theory has not
No,
materialized.
that's
So we're going to idle now to
happens.
one or two others.
And guys, that is typically fishing. But I'll tell you why I've put that video in there. Number one is to emphasize it being fishing, that the best spots just sometimes don't materialize, but they're still worth going back to and back to and back to, because it's a good spot. It will eventually work out. The only problem with the tournament is how much time have you got. But near the end of that video, Martin was saying something else, was why good charts are so important. I mean, Martin is a firm believer of sediment charts, but like he said there, the information in the sediment chart is just not enough. He was talking about the old airstrip and that ledge going to the old airstrip, those of you who know Albert Falls, and those of you that have seen it, okay, it's been low for so long and then it came up quite a bit and now it's gone down a little bit again, but you'll remember what the edge of that drop off of center trees looks like. And obviously anybody that's got my charts, all that information is on there. Every little nodule that he was talking about, every little washout, it's all there on those charts. And these are the type of things that do make a difference to the actual fishing, and knowing that they're there and actually physically targeting them. Right, this next video, I was just talking to Martin about, we back on the humps. We obviously moved out to the primary structure, coming off the main river channel into the primary structure that he was hoping those fish were going to sit on. And then as you come out onto the flats, you've got those humps. That is known as your secondary structure. We're going back out to the secondary structure now, but I'm talking about the elevation charts here. Because guys, keep in mind, the drone imagery from the air is 20 times the resolution or more than what you get from satellite imagery. But the problem looking at something from the top, you don't know how high it is. So it's very difficult to determine which is a high hump and which is a low hump, because the contour charts doesn't collect enough data to show you which is a high one and which is a low one, because contour charts is a very wide sort of cone. It's doing a lot of averaging out. So yeah, let's have a look how to use the elevation charts. Now guys, I'll explain in the video what elevation is, but here we go. Okay, Martin, you were saying predominantly when the water's at this level for Albert Falls, you are predominantly using the aerial HD charts, which are the plain high definition drone imagery shots. I then asked you, have you tried using elevation? And you said you have used elevation, but that was in Clanwilliam, right?
Yeah, I used it extensively at Clanwilliam, because there you have a lot of real variation in height because of the rock formations. You know, it's like constellations nearly, if I can express it. And there it's awesome. You could really, you know, quite far off the bank, you could see those ones that's right coming within that sort of sweet range of fishing. But yeah, I've been a bit, how can I say, perhaps a little bit preoccupied just using the mosaic and the HC charts. The HC charts have been so awesome for me that I haven't really thought of the elevation for quite a while. And now that you mentioned to me, have I asked, you know, have I used it? And I thought, geez, you know, this little areas we're fishing now, they're so subtle. Couldn't really thought that I would have been able to see it on the aerial HD, you know. But sorry, on the elevation. But when you went there, oh, you could actually see the difference. It's a bit of an eye opener. I haven't really used it, which is a bit embarrassing.
Let me just explain to everybody what elevation is. I know you know, but this is for everybody else's benefit.
Looks like I need to be reminded.
Elevation is actually the information, the data taken from the high definition drone imagery. And what it is, it's like a form of light distance ranging. So like what we've got here now, we've got a very flat, like you say, it's very subtle changes in the bottom. But the reason why I mentioned it is from the air, it's very difficult to see how tall something is. You can see it's a nice clear detail, but you can't see how tall it is. Whereas the elevation with the light distance ranging, if you've got three humps close to one another, and they're all exactly the same shade of green, for example, like we've got now, then you know they're all the same sort of height and there's no change. But where you see one of those humps changing from green to, let's say, yellow, you know that it's taller, it's higher. And that, I think, has got some value when it comes into play, when you are looking for something taller. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, just they're able to distinguish where those sweet spots are a bit further off the side. Also being able to see which ones is the most prominent.
So guys, do not forget about the various features that are on the HD fishing charts. And remember, the magic that makes the FishTec HD charts work is the Lowrance chart plotter. My maps only work with the Lowrance. They do not work with any other form of chart plotter. The other chart plotters on the market just don't have the brute strength of the chart plotters from Lowrance. So that's why we use Lowrance, And there's so much information on these charts. Some say, you know, we're spoilt with information, and maybe sometimes too much information is too much information and you can't process it all. But like I was saying earlier about what makes a good engineer might not have to have everything in his head, but he knows where to find it, and understand what the various features on your charts do. Understand what aerial HD is, understand what elevation is, understand what the mosaic is, and the difference between the ultra HF and the sediment and the satellite. Those are more obvious, but you know, understand what they are and know what your chart's got, so you know where to go and pick it up and hammer those type of spots. So the elevation in this particular scenario here, I think would have helped us a little bit, and but that's just an opinion. But remember that information is there should you want to utilize it. Okay, next, how are we doing time wise? Sure, guys, I can't believe it. It's already 5 to 8. Guys, I've got 2 videos here that I'm talking to Martin about Vaal River and what happened at Nationals, and how he went about it and how he used the charts and what have you. Guys, I'm not going to have time to show you that. What I will do is I promise to put it on YouTube. It'll be on full HD. As you guys will see on Facebook, these videos are a little bit fuzzy because Facebook only lets us stream at 720 resolution. But I will submit all these videos, all these individual videos, plus I'll put everything, plus this whole video I will put up onto YouTube either later tonight or early tomorrow morning. So guys, I'm going to skip these next 2 videos, and I'm going to apologize profusely to Martin, because it's 2 good videos here. The one is 4 minutes and 22 minutes long, and the other one is 6 minutes and 47. We just don't have the time to show it, but they're really, really good videos. And I see there's also another bunch of videos here of various fish and whatnot. But you know what? We are not going to skip that. No, come. Let's do that. Here's Martin catching one of the many good fish that he caught on Saturday morning.
That's a big one.
That's a nice fish. Yo, that's a big fish. Holy moly. Yo, that's a fatty.
Yeah, it's a big one, but it's very good.
Yo, that's a nice fish. My stuff in your way.
Man.
Ooh, that is such a goodie. Pity, eh?
Yeah, that's a big fish.
That's what we're looking for. Man, oh man.
Big old fish.
Yo, that's a good fish.
Look at his style.
Yo. Guys, sorry I have to do that. There were a lot more pictures and there were some other videos of nice fish and whatnot, but we're going to have to skip that. We got 3 minutes left and there's a part that I really want to show you, but really it was just amazing. I wish we had more time and show you all that other stuff, but anyway, this is important, guys. This section that I'm going to show you now, this last video, we don't have time to show the whole video. The video is 16 minutes long. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be in high definition, so it's going to be a really great video. There's a lot of information here. What I want you guys, anybody that's still out there, I see there's still a bunch of guys watching, which is awesome. But guys, I want you to pay very close attention to this video that I'm going to put up now. And what I want you to think in your minds is, you know, we recently just had the Vaal River Nationals, which Martin was going to talk to us about, and he was really telling me some fantastic stuff, and I will put that up on YouTube for you. But guys, what kills me is I'm a diehard supporter. When I bite into a sport, I can't get enough of it. I mean, look at you guys with the boats. You could probably be fine with a kayak and a carbon 16 and you'd be good, you know, you'd be sorted. But we don't. We buy big boats and we buy tons and tons of tackle and 30 rods and all this type of thing. It's just the nature of the beast. It's the nature of bass fishing. Now, I'm the same about being a spectator. When I turn on my big TV to watch the rugby, I watch the boys run out there, whether it's the Springboks playing the All Blacks, or it's the Sharks, or whatever it might be, whatever your favorite team is, and I just want to see as much as possible, and I'll shout at the ref, and, you know, we all do that type of thing. Guys, now comes my number one sport, my sport I really, really love, bass fishing. Nationals, the biggest event of the year. Thanks to Corneille Skuman. She took some videos of the boys leaving and driving out with the boats, guys, and then nothing. Nada. It's like the boys running out onto the field for the match, and then there's nothing. The TV turns off, and then they tell you at the end what the score is and who's man of the match. Neerman. That's not. This has to change, guys. That part in this sport has to change. So what I want to show you now is, I said to Martin, give me a spot that you don't mind that I exploit, that I'm going to put all over Facebook with videos and overlays and charts and everything. And I want to film you with a drone in the air. I'm going to have another unit, something else filming the unit that you're working with. I'm going to have another camera on you. I'm going to have my cell phone with me to film further stuff. And I imagine all that type of information being streamed to a channel out there in a tournament, and you can select which fishermen you want to follow. Let's say there's a big international event, there's world champs coming up, and you see Martin De Kock there and so-and-so, so-and-so. You select that person, and imagine getting this type of information live with the technology that's available today. Have a look at this video.
Another little tap now. Now it's a little male. This is not the real hotspot. I caught some really nice ones the other day here. They were closer to the bank. carbon is amazing.
You know, when you're planning from home, the resolution.
On my final Peter this weekend, I'll tune him. If you can, you must.
FishTec's been around for 10 years.
Yeah, but you've also had good innings. You know, you got to sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Some folks refuse to acknowledge things like that.
Yeah, well, that's just stupid.
The problem with these things is the technology changes so often and so quickly nowadays.
Every 2 years there's a new XPS.
Yeah.
But what you've got to look at is guys, I've unfortunately got to stop it right there, but like I said, there's still a lot more in that video. You'll see Martin catching fish there, what have you. There's still 14 minutes left on that video, but we are out of time, unfortunately. But I will put that video up in full on YouTube. But guys, I would just like to leave you with that thought of imagine being able to follow your bassing heroes with this type of technology. With the charts are made available to everybody. The charts are part of the video live feed that you can subscribe to or have on TV channel or however it becomes in the future. You know, the technology today, especially when it comes to media, is moving incredibly fast. And imagine being able to do this live on the water with these multiple views. See that chart plotter with the maps. You see exactly the distance he is. You see exactly where he's casting. You see absolutely everything. I think the whole sport in general will be reborn with that type of information or media being available at all the big tournaments, especially when it comes to the real upper level of sporting around the world, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Australia, whether you're in the States, Canada, South America, Mexico, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're at that level and you've got a following, imagine having this type of technology being able to follow you around. Guys, we're already 5 minutes past 8. I didn't need to phone Martin tonight. I said to him, please stand by on the phone if I need to phone you in case somebody's got a question for you. But I hope that he is listening. And I just want to say, Martin, thank you very much for taking me out on the water. And for everybody that watches this video tonight, watch the video tonight and watches this video in the future and the other videos that I'm going to put up on Facebook. I thank you for sharing that type of information with people and just enriching the sport. That to me is very, very valuable, and thank you very much for that. So Martin, big thumbs up to you. And guys, for all of you that joined me tonight in the video and made comments and what have you, I really appreciate it. And I will see you next month, the second Tuesday of every month. So that will be November. Sure, November, second Tuesday at 7 o'clock Central Africa time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Good night.